Very warm good evening. This is Arunava Chaudhuri. You are live on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. It is January the 8th, 2026, and there is still some doubt in regard to the Indian Super League and who's going to play and who's not going to play. And therefore, that will be one of the topics that we will surely be discussing today. And as always, at the start of a video, once more, the reminder, please like, share, and subscribe. And um, Arunfoot here. Visit my other social medias, visit arunfoot.com, and of course, visit my other social media, arunfoot.com. And of course, watch my short videos again, guys. The views haven't been too good, so therefore, guys, do watch them, support them, comment them. Again, today I did something again. Why clubs not fully agreeing, other things as well. So therefore, thanks a lot as always for your support, and let's get right into it because Renan has put in a lot of things to speak about. As clubs are looking to reduce salaries, is it a blessing in disguise for clubs that a stricter salary cap is needed for the future if there will be a league held? I don't think a salary cap can work because, to be very honest, then everybody has to open their books. I can always, if I want to pay a player, right? I can always get some sort of sponsorship deal or something of the other in the background going. So therefore, I feel in an Indian context with all the jugaad that is done, I have my doubts. So if you ask me that way, but it is a blessing. The question is, can you slash your salaries by X in one go? Right. That is would be my concern at the moment when we talk about salaries. Is that are we in a position to reduce the salaries to the extent that it is needed? And to me, I feel no, I don't think it can. I don't think it will also happen in the way that the UI we think it could, should, needs to happen. So therefore, from that perspective, again, the salary cap, yes, can come in, but again, who's going to implement it and who's going to cross check it? Who's going to be able to get those numbers together? And do you think the Swiss model by AIFF would work? Yeah, Brennan. I mean, it's a one-leg season, so therefore, why should it not work? Is this league a method where you have to finish their current term? Most of them care about their paychecks, so they want to stay in the seat until next elections. Renil, which paycheck? You are an honorary member of being part of the Exco. So this is, um, this is something which I understand that you think that, again, and there is a misconception in regard to when we talk about the AIFF, talk about corruption and other things, there's a lot of allegations left, right, and center. And what can a normal fan like me from Kerala do to make the situation better? Then, as I say again and again, post the right things. For example, yeah, support my channel, support me in pushing the right agendas in Indian football. Stop watching stuff from people who have other agendas, who are not really doing things in the interest of football. And question everybody, even question me if that needs to be done, right? And I see a lot of player bashing nowadays, but what can players do realistically with football education? How will we produce results? See, the problem is, again, it's on one side also the players. There is some of the players, especially the younger ones. Therefore, I always say, those of you who can speak Bengali, watch my interview with Pritam Kotal a couple of days back, where Pritam speaks about those things, right? What it means, what it does. But indirectly also points out, that younger players take things in a different way. Again, there is no stakeholder who should, so that therefore that is something, that needs to be looked at. So the coaches are at fault, the system is at fault. So it means all stakeholders. But on top of that, the players themselves can also try to be better, no? What was outcome after meeting? Raj, nothing, right? Right? I mean, therefore I say watch my short video. Some clubs still to agree to play ISL, but why? Where clearly what I said 2 days ago is coming true, what I had, what I felt. Uh, you know, um, So therefore, for me, uh, you know, the point is that I think there are these six entities who are thinking, looking at the numbers and saying, you know what, AIFF is saying they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And AIFF actually, the 10 crores, that the 14 crores they're supposed to get from the franchisees are supposed to pay for ISL and I League, right? The AIFF does not have the money to run the league. The AIFF's job should be to have told the minister what is the situation and then go to the Supreme Court. We are, after all that has been happening over the last 3 months, to back to square one, that the whole thing is imploding again. If I like it, you like it, we like it or not, we are back to square one. Good evening, Siddharth. Timor left. Yeah, Raj. Again, even if the league is happening, some of the players are saying, you know what, for less money, I'll go somewhere else, but I have less headaches. Any development regarding ISIS announcement start of date? No. Saurabh, yes, that the clubs, again, guys, therefore my request, my humble request, I know a lot of you are asking these questions. Spend those 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. I do those videos every morning. Try and watch them because a lot of your questions are answered every day by the things that I try and put together in a short video. To answer you, Saurabh, there are 6 entities: Bangalore FC, Odisha FC, Kerala Blasters, Mumbai City, Chennai FC, and FC Goa, who are looking at the numbers and realizing it does make sense. And they're playing it, speaking internally with the players to reduce salaries. All the ISL teams, you know. So that is where we stand. Salary structure is okay, but let's see now what quality foreigners we'll get if league happens. I'm quite worried. So we'll be like 2010 I League with kind of foreigners. See that we will not get 2010 kind of foreigners. Listen, your problem is there are some foreigners who are committed to Indian football and they will stay, right? That's one. But there are others who've never been in India, who will look at it and then think, what RFP, and do you see any entity coming to take up the asset rights with the current constitution? Or do you think AIFF will get to a point where they have to amend the constitution? There is no one coming. Just again, anyone, sorry, with all due respect to everybody who's around, right? I've heard from someone today telling me, no, koi na koi aayega. And I asked that person, koi na koi aayega, kaun aayega? Yeah. So uh, that's the problem is that given the scenario, given the ownership structure, I don't see anybody coming forward and saying, you know what, I want to put money in. Because whoever comes in, forget this season, though, your money is gone. Right? If you put in 1 rupee, any one of you who's listening at this moment, there are 26 of you of listening at the moment. Any one of you puts in 1 rupee into a commercial budget of the Indian Super League or even I League or whatever, or anything of the AFF, you're going to get back 0 paisa. Even if you put in just 1 rupee. Because the way, um, the thing is running at the moment, it makes no sense. Right? Then a suggestion for you: quit social media for a while. Just rely on Arunava search channel, so you will not get any Indian football payment. Only will get good info. Thanks, Siddharth, for this trust and for trying to. Yeah, I've tried, and I try to be honest. And I warn, because to me a lot of these very clear, evident if you look at it, and I'm really shocked that a lot of people. I said this today in my video. Why did none of the CEOs speak up in front of the minister? I still don't understand. Guys, this is your chance. Say something, right? Hi, now when I posted an article about professional to Indian football, some fans immediately laughed about it. Roshan, this is ignorance, right? Roshan, you live in a country which eats, sleeps, breathes football, right? You live here, like me, you live in Germany. And I commend people like you who are trying to promote Indian football, women's football. And when anyone questions about this professionalism part, as has someone who's worked in it, who knows the running of the AIFF, who knows how I League used to be run, NFL used to be run. Yes, the ISL brought a level of professionalism in which has never been there in Indian football. And you know what? I remember in 2016, a lot of clubs, these things, and it is something, what to say. It's just shocking. Mr. Ace of Leave did something with two South futsal. Okay, I don't know, Raj, what you're pointing at. Do you think will encourage Indian players to at least consider trying opportunities abroad? Consider trying abroad. Who's going to take them, guys? I've been saying this for months now. No one wants to take an Indian footballer. Nobody. If I tomorrow would question, people and say, guys, please give a trial to an Indian player, they will not do it. I've done it. I'm one of few people in this whole world who can say, listen, I have organized and have carried out trials, created opportunities for players. There is no one waiting for an Indian footballer. The salary, it's not a salary issue, it's a quality issue, guys. This is what Gurpreet Singh Sandhu said, but nobody wants to understand. Gurpreet is right. Nobody understands how difficult it is, first of all, to get the chance abroad and then to prove yourself abroad. Because the problem at the end of the day is that our players are not good enough to go abroad. Sorry, guys. This whole, let them go abroad. Listen, nobody's waiting. We don't have opportunities like those that Baichung had, that Sunil had, that Gurpreet had. Even Changte when we did the trial at Viking Stavanger. You know? I say clubs we will create a new league, will bring good things, but they never saw they have to run I League as well with their own money with this federation. Siddharth, it's a joke. If I was involved in this and I was the CEO of this group, I don't know what, sorry. And there are intelligent people in this mix, good guys in this. Push it to the right outcome, guys, because otherwise, if you commit for 20 years to a failed league, so where are we gonna go? If OFC shows courage and disagrees to play league, then we can also see other clubs to follow the same. Raj, it is not linked to Odisha FC. Each individual club will take a decision. And there is certainty around certain clubs and entities where, maybe others would have thought, okay, they will commit. Backing of JSW with what Parjindal has said has not committed to the thing. Those are warning signs which everybody should understand. FC Goa not committing. Mumbai City not committing. Kerala Blasters not committing. Chennai FC not committing. Right? All of them at a different level. But there are 6 different entities, So therefore, for me, I knew at the time the announcement was being made by the sports minister. I remember I was in touch with a couple of guys from clubs who said, oh, no, we're taking part, and the rest also. I said, are you sure? Yeah, 100 clubs. The minister is going to say that. Okay. So that is the problem. In India, you have a general problem. I was talking to someone the other day who's worked in Indian football, who's also European born. He said, you know what? You don't tell your higher ups what the problems are and issues are. Therefore, we don't get to the reality of things, to the problem of things and can solve them. Has anybody ever told Mrs. Ambani, the issues and problems of the Indian Super League? Do most of the owners know the problems and issues that their clubs or franchises are facing in this league? Right? No. I remember Kushal Das used to do that. Praful Patel used to know where the problems are. If there was, he caught in. You know? So that's the reality. Hi, Rudra. I said reducing salary of players. Many clubs already take talking to players to lower salary. I commented in your last video regarding this. So, rather, not all clubs are talking about it. All clubs are talking about it because they realize that is one thing. I saw your comment, but again, I honestly, one second, where is it? I saw it. I saw it. I saw it. Where is it? Right? You said 2 lakhs per month, right? So you are saying that the salary, right, of an Indian footballer should be a maximum of 24 lakhs. The clubs would love it. But if you've got a player who's on 4 crores, do you think he would agree to a 24 lakh contract? Hmm? I-League players will not agree to a 24 lakh contract. So therefore, this restructuring, you push it down by not even by 1/10th, some of this 1/15th, 1/17th, 18th of the salary. No one will agree to it. I can tell you that. Regarding salary, yeah. I read today that Germany has made dual national arrangement with Pakistan. Is it? Okay. I have to ask then certain people about this. First of all, it's good that ISL started open, nothing more pathetic happens. Second, pathetic, the sportsman is not able to take proper names, but yes, this is India for decades. Shanlata, I don't even know if the ISL will happen. Again, this is my big question. Will it really happen? I think today, with nothing having come out, I think there are a lot of questions, right? And Mohun Began and is Began, Begun or whatever, I don't know, are we talking about Brinjal or are we talking about football clubs? It's an embarrassment. Again, yes, it's embarrassment. But again, it can happen, it shouldn't happen, it does happen. But the bigger thing is that the minister was given information and said, hey, listen, announce, league happening, 14 teams playing. That is the biggest scandal to me. That the minister was made to sit there, Mansukh Mandavia sitting over there with Kalyan Chaubey on his side, Kalyan Chaubey prompting him and saying that all is happening, all is fine, when nothing is fine. De facto, the minister gave us false information. Fake news. Because 14 clubs have not committed. Because 6 teams have given a conditional okay. Right? And I know that the AIFF is playing with the threat of relegating teams. Where are you going to relegate them to? You're going to suddenly have what, a 20-team, 25-team I-League? Oh, yeah, sorry, they're doing an I-League 2 with 40 teams now, right? Well, I think a lot of them are saying, do we want to really play? The only real thing that should be done, and this is where I say the clubs actually should have had a private conversation with the minister or with the chief secretary or joint secretary and say, sir, please ensure that there is a switch in leadership in the AIFF. Right? So what are we going to do? I know the clubs did not everything right, but I give the owners a lot of credit for not shutting down, and most of them they poured a hell of a lot of money. Raj, that is a very key point. You know, my issue here is every one of them deserves credit, right? That they're still putting money into this. I've said this multiple times. If I had the money and I was involved in this Indian football thingy, with all love, passion I have for Indian football, it is still my money, right? Then I would say no, right? I would have invested in something else somewhere else because it makes no sense. Certain people, individuals have lost 350, 400 crores in the last 10, 11 years. We're talking about Reliance having lost 3,500 plus crores, right? Just add up the sheer volume of losses that Indian football has produced in the last 11 years in the ISL. Add on top of it the losses in the I-League, in the NFL era. Most probably we are close to, if not more than 10,000 crores of rupees lost on Indian football in the last 3 decades. Lost because entities have not been able to recover. That is the conversation we should be having, right? And that is not the conversation we are having at the moment, right? That's those are the realities. Where I say these are issues and problems which we are facing and how we're going to get out of it. So therefore, for me, um, it's a big challenge. It's a big challenge. And if an owner, after all that is happening at this moment in time, says, you know what, I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to run the club. I would understand it. I would understand and say, it makes no sense because you're pouring in money into something where you're not going to get it back, right? If army with the support of West Bengal government could gather PSU sponsors and investors, the least African approach them is to get them on board for the league. Sort of, I don't think the army playing in the top tier league in Indian football makes sense because the army would have to have a entity, right? The PSUs flew out of the old I League because they could not have a corporate structure, right? That was one of the club licensing criterias. And I don't know what the value of the army team having in the top level. I know that a lot of people talk, oh, Santosh Trophy, Durand Cup, this, that, everything. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. To be honest, when government is intervening and trying to help, clubs must share the real insights with ministry. Who knows? It can bring something different on the table, but should they be happy in this? Is the government really trying to help or is the government forced to help because of the Supreme Court? Siddharth, ask yourself that question, right? If if the government wanted to help, then I go back to conversation in 2022, we would have avoided the ban from FIFA. The government didn't listen, the Supreme Court didn't listen. I said it to people, right? I said it to the COA. I said it to a certain Ranjit Bajaj. Those guys laughed in my face, right? They don't, sorry, we are run in these kind of sporting matters when it comes to governance by people who are not in a position to take those decisions, understanding what it means, sports governance. If sports governance was implemented, then Mr. Chaube would have never been made president. Pathetic, but doesn't happen. Sorry for the missing word. Okay. We'll talk about it. When will Northeast RSC preparation start? In update, Al Najee will stay or not? The question is if the league is happening, right? And at the moment, today was totally silence, totally quiet. I have a feeling we will have a question again if 14th of February will start and what will start. You expect sportsmen to do something here. The sportsman is not able to pronounce the century-old club names. Raj, yes, on one side, it is shocking. And again, I've seen Main Street, uh, uh, um, you know, um, mainstream people having done a lot of memes about it, and it is embarrassing. But yeah, I don't know what you expect from these people. I don't, right? And I thought when the salary goes immediately, the passing accuracy, tackling accuracy, and scoring ability of Indian shoots high. Roshan, this is the fun one, right? So anyone thinking this is, I will say this every day now. If you think that Indian footballers realistically will get a chance to play abroad, no, right? No. Whoever is going about, who's ever gone to wherever, Slovenia, Spain, or whatever, everyone is paying money to go there. So it's not on sporting merit that any one of them, just sorry if I break a bubble here. Nobody's going on sporting merit, right? We don't have players, right? So therefore, yeah, unless and until the football structure in India becomes sustainable, we'll keep repeating the same cycle after every decade. No, Zorava, we won't. See, the problem is this this would have happened if the AIFF simply had agreed with Reliance to, you know, uh, uh, you know. So for me, it is on the AIFF. We did not have to be in this situation. Listen, you didn't negotiate with Reliance 15 months ago when you had the chance to. They gave you a proposal. You didn't like it. You say, give me 50 crores. I don't care about the rest. No, that doesn't work. Right. And the reality is that the AIFF missed a chance because what I've always said, and has been proven right, nobody else will come forward to fund all of this. Right? Whatever people said, oh, this company, that company, whatever. A certain piece of time, Shachi was supposedly the savior. Nothing of it works. You know, and where are we? We had a meeting a couple of days ago, and everybody, even I was very happy. I said, hey, okay, at least the league will happen. But then, if you think about it, then I say, not happening. Super Cup season two, Raj, I don't even think Super Cup season two will happen at the moment. There is real doubt. Really doubt Indian players will even go foreign if salary cut happens, which don't know because our clubs really don't care. But let's see if any cut happens. Shanlata, the cuts are going to happen. That is something, you know. Uh, um, so therefore, let's not even go down. Hi, Mehar. Don't know that there are four Asian Cups coming from four different Indian teams in less than 3 months span. All four Asian Cups we played. I want isolate issues to get resolved soon so that AIFF draw their attention towards these four Asian Cups. Mehar, very valid point you raised. Very important point that you raised. There is one problem. And I've said this, at least on this channel and this platform, multiple times, that without the money from the Indian Super League, you will not be able to fund the rest. So the ISL, you know, money coming in, the rest is not possible. Look at my prime example is the IWL, right? The IWL at the moment is being held like, I don't know, a local para tournament, right? A local locality tournament, let's call it that, right? Why? Because the AFF doesn't have money. What preparations? Under 17 boys, Bibiano's contract, has it been extended? You know? So that's the point. That's the problem. My biggest fear, I've said this now for the last 4 months, is going into the match against Japan. Totally underprepared against a fully prepared Japan. They will thrash us 20-0. Just go back to Urawa Red Diamonds Women's versus Odisha FC. And we are worse prepared than Odisha FC. That is the problem. Right? But Jindal is quite clear about the things. If things don't work well, he will definitely shut the club. So it's really a worrying still. People living delusion world thinking again that will run the show with their money. Yeah, that's the problem. Who will tell the realities? Raj, to me, the job, and I know my mistake. I go back to 2014. There was a meeting with Mrs. Ambani in 2014. I sat on it and I raised one point. Um, we are spending so much on marketing. We are spending so much money, resources on the product. But in the long run, if we don't ensure quality of Indian players, or actually rather the rise of the quality of Indian players, this product is not sustainable because we are spending so much of money. If I tell you how much I was spending in 5 months on Mumbai City, it's insane. Insane money, right? But I also said a few days ago, I had an idea at the time in 2014 where I said, let's sign David Beckham as Mumbai City. I actually went to his management, you know, and they were interested. They gave me a hefty figure as a salary. Um, but I said, this is an opportunity for the league. This is exactly what the MLS did when they signed Lionel Messi, right? What did they do? Inter Miami signs the player, but all clubs are paying a small proportion because the marketing money, the television rights, and everything is higher because Lionel Messi is playing in the MLS. Why? Because India love their superstars. As big as the stars were from a football perspective, and as much a platform we got, but that needed to be even higher, you know? So that's the reality. The fact that the sports minister can't properly spell Mohun Bagan, East Bengal properly says pretty much there no regarding sports, let alone football. Very right, Zorawar. What will happen if the league doesn't happen and some clubs not opting to play in it? Can clubs go to Supreme Courts? What's next to sports ministry again? Then the path is not the Supreme Court. I mean, they can go to courts. Yes, surely they can. But again, what are the rules? Again, my problem is that the ISL is a product which has been created by Reliance, IMG Reliance at the time, right? And when it was started, there were certain um, criteria of participation, you know, but that doesn't apply anymore. So under what rule? And this is a general question. How can I now say XYZ club, you're out? I relegate you because you don't want to play. What are the league should have been started 4 months ago, 5 months ago. How am I going to come around and so that's the reality. So Bagan Holo Begoner, that's what the minister meant. Nice, Raj. Well, clubs will not go to Supreme Court because they can't make them stress now. Because say in Western football, they just got their biggest losses. So why they shouldn't care about this now? See that they went to try to go to Supreme Court, but the road was via the AIFF, and the AIFF never wanted to go to Supreme Court, right? Now that ignorance of owners and high officials you mentioned, I catch myself when a certain communication briefing happens. Roshan, there is a lack of it at multiple levels. And if I tell you the people that I have worked with myself, with certain people or even owners, um, assumptions made, sorry, in a very, very arrogant way, I've always felt I'm surrounded by people who are not of my level in Indian football. I can say that. I don't have a problem with that, right? This is something, if you give me the full power, if you allow me to build a team, we'll get results in 10 years because there's enough money in the system. Even with all the problems we have, there's enough money actually in the system, right? I was yesterday on a show on News 9 where we spoke about things, and I realized it's what are we talking about and what are the issues and problems? So welcome to the world of Indian football. Hi Anish, welcome back. East Bengal Mohun Bagan relegated to CFL. Raj, would the would the clubs mind? East Bengal and Mohun Bagan are still in the mindset of the CFL, right? They are still in the CFL mindset, right? For them to play only CFL and not bother about ISL or the national level league, I guess they would be happy with it. They would be fine with it, right? So we are in that problem position that you know that's the problem. Guys, please like. Thanks, Raj. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, 15 likes so far. I think we can do better. We had 63 likes a couple of days back when Hiren joined me once more. Thanks a lot, Hiren, for joining in. And of course, subscribe. We're at 3,677. So if you're watching, you're liking it, please subscribe to the channel. You'll get updates on whenever I post something. And of course, also um, ask questions, join our conversations. Um, and let's keep on growing the community. Thanks a lot. We have already gained in the first few days of the year over 40 new subscribers to the channel. So thanks a lot. So there will be a situation where AIFF has to tweak in the constitution near future. Daniel, I think yes. Right? It's a must, but this federal AIFF will not do it. Bajaj fanboys will get offended. Let them. Don't problem. No problem. Siddharth, Says, sir, you and me know what kind of sports administration we got here in India. So what to say about the same? Yeah, the less we say, the better. Hey, Aditya, current taking break from Indian football and really feels peaceful these days. I've stopped caring about Indian football and sports in India in general. By the time I've known that AIFF will never change and football will need more 50 years. Aditya, take that break. But again, if you and I trust you are a real fan, so you'll be back. All of us have had that phase where you think, okay, let's leave it, and then that's the reality. This ISL season happening with the lack of clarity also for the future. An example of misplaced priority like Asian Games 2 years ago. Yeah, Roshan, I've said this to people, and a lot of people don't like it. I've said, given these circumstances at the moment, I would rather suggest not holding a league, right? Try and do Federation Cup, do something of the sort. Let the player have some football, let them earn their salaries, spend a little bit of money on it, okay. But then hard reset in the summer. You can't do it, right? So rather, right, makes no sense. Forget football league. I'm trying to prepare myself to see more embarrassment next international football cycle. I wish we could skip all upcoming national team games. So that we were supposed to lose to Hong Kong this way or that way. So therefore, that conversation has gone far, far back, right? So therefore, for me, I'm not worrying. I mean, I told you guys, right, about the Bangladesh game. Did a live watch along, one of the most watched live alongs I've done. Um, we're sitting in London between meetings. I go back to my hotel room, do the live, and after 55 minutes, for the first time ever in my life, I thought, why am I doing this? Why am I actually watching this? I've never had that, right? Even in bad phases, I still, yeah, watch this, that, everything. So this is how far Indian football has taken me, you know. So let's see. According to a source, eminent economist and Niti Aayog advisor Subhat Mathur has said in his close circle that FSL had forced other small interested parties to do a bid for the tender. Palash, and this is again, FSDL is gone, right? FSDL, if they wanted to, they could do this, that, everything. And knowing the people, FSDL has done nothing, right? So if a person at that level is saying this, or according to the source, again, either the source is lying or the gentleman from Niti Aayog is lying, right? 80% of Kalyan's reforms are failed and he still roams like a free man, shows me the dedication for football fans in this country. Aditya, 80% only? I think we could have gone higher, no? Sir, being honest, we better DD Sports will telecast, SSN may be worst. DD Sports also had good OTT app, Waves name. Couple of years, DD Sports broadcast quality become better. XIP, I'm not even talking about broadcasting, right? The broadcasting is the least of my worry. At the moment, we don't have 14 teams playing. I think that is the question that we should be discussing. The overconfidence of AIFF that FSL will still invest got their ship drowned. Yeah, yeah. Not no, 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 no. You know what? AIFF, I think certain people in the AIFF wanted FSL gone. I think the overconfidence was that someone else would come in. Raj, not rather FSL staying, but rather someone else coming in. FSL is out of this. No propaganda is going to make them bad anymore. Yeah. Especially not Bengali media. Yeah, Bengali media are fans. Uravare Diamonds is a name that I neither want to hear nor want to say. Aditya, it's part of the history and legacy of your club, sadly. Sir, being honest, it's better that either will happen. At least they're getting game time late. So, X9P, this kind of tournament in a short space of time, I think people are picking up injuries, this, that, and everything, players coming, players going. It makes no sense. Aditya, there are still people criticizing FSL, you will not be able to stop. Yeah, Raj, and let them do that. Now fans will realize the importance. No, they won't. Augusto, people are saying, again, people are saying that FSDL is doing this, FSDL is doing that, FSDL is bad, whatever, blah, blah. And FSDL has been the body, in my opinion, who has been in the background a stabilizing factor to Indian football, right? And we do not realize and recognize that 11 years of ISL happened, all of it was always done on time, right? Thanks to Ambani, they're still giving all clubs platform to play in better youth league. Yeah, that's true. RFDL, still happening. But AIFF should know the importance of U17 Asian Cup of Men, where 9 teams from Asia is going to go to U17 World Cup. If we manage to qualify to knockouts, then I was government attention sponsors can come because this time it will be on merit. Mehat, this whole merit thing and qualifying and people coming and eyeballs and this and that and everything is nice. Forget the merit part. We hosted the Under 17 World Cup in 2017, right? How many sponsors came forward? It's a big zero. This whole thing that if the national team is more successful, people will come, right? There was massive hype 2.5 years ago when India won those 3 tournaments, right? The Tri Nation, the Intercontinental Cup, and then the SAF Championship. And I saw it. I saw the semis and final in Bangalore. Did it bring any additional money into the system? Did our Asian Cup qualification bring additional money into the system? No. Right? All of this is nice to say, but there needs to be a sustained level of success for us to actually say XYZ will invest in Indian football because people know that the Indian football ecosystem is so overpriced and so complex that if I have a little bit of money, I will not invest in it. Right? People are turning away from other leagues as well. I sat a month ago in Mumbai and moderated a panel on that at the Sports Bar Pro Leagues Forum, right? Where you recognize that XYZ leagues are happening and all of them are loss making. So that extra money that I, we all hope would, needs to come to Indian football is not coming. So if you think that, look at the women's game, good example. What the women achieved last year to qualify for the AFC Women's Asian Cup this year in Australia in less than 2 months is a massive achievement for women's sport in India, for Indian football. Did one corporate sponsor come forward to support the women? Right. So all of this talk is nice, right? I will only believe it the second it actually factually happens. Because in the last 15 years where we've had success here and there, none of it has happened. It has happened only once, major investment. That is when Reliance, Mr. Ambani, convinced people to invest into the Indian Super League. It is not on sporting, on any other thing. It is on his relationships that people came forward. That's the reality. That is how India functions in the year 2026, even more than in 2012-13. Bajaj Scooter fans, Bengali fans will realize what reports are done. They will never. They will never because for them, Reliance is evil. The fact that sports minister cannot even pronounce old legacy clubs shows their real value out of the inflated Bengal, and which shows that so-called legacy is non-existent since half of India. Aditya, no, has no idea who you are. No, Aditya, it shows that our sports minister, with all due respect, doesn't know and understand what sports is. Right? If he cannot pronounce the names of these 2 clubs, right, which are amongst the biggest entities in sports in India, right, then sorry, he's not qualified to be in a seat. So with all due respect, no, you're not, right? And he would do the same thing with IPL teams most probably, right? So therefore, that is the reality. It's not about, so let's see. So is it true higher views of us was in 2016 time? Yeah, it was higher. 2014, 15, 16, surely it was higher. Much higher than it was towards the end, yeah. Just want to say thanks to everyone for showing mirror to AFF clubs, fans, and holding in football. Yeah, but Siddharth, very important point that you're raising. But my question would be then: have people understood that they have this mirror has been shown to them? I don't see that, right? My concern is if I see all of this that is happening at the moment, that a lot of people don't recognize the role, the importance of an FSDL in organizing, managing, and funding. Most importantly, funding the whole thing, right? At the moment, again, step 1 is funding. Step 2 is organizing. Step 3 is broadcasting. All of this was taken care of them, and it was never a problem, right? If there's no sponsor, We covered it. When when Hero went, they took care of those, right? So that is the reality. FSA is the only party that has fulfilled all their promise despite being downgraded online. Yeah. What is the legacy of Bengal Cups outside India fearing to play in Iran? XMP, again, yeah. I mean, I made the joke today that forget Iran. Mohun Bagan was supposed to play Churchill Brothers today in the Bhadrashwar Cup, yeah, Bhadrashwar Gold Cup in Bardwan. Mohun Bagan didn't turn up, right? So it's not just an Iran problem for them. What is legacy of Bengal Cups inside India? Aditya, if you're a football fan and you don't know something about these two clubs, then you're not a football fan, in my opinion. Or forget these two. Mohammedan Sporting should be in the mix of the conversation. And a lot less people know about Mohammedan Sporting. You know, the biggest problem in football, even fans are still divided, that it's also a key element, in my opinion. Maybe no one cares about fans, but that thing creates little impact, I feel. Siddharth, you're raising a point which is a problem, in my opinion, because a lot of fans live in their own little worlds. Again, forget Indian football fans. I think football fans in large parts of the world live in that dream. You know, I look at you're a Chelsea fan, if I'm not wrong. Look at Man United fans. Look at Liverpool fans. You know, Arsenal fans. You know, Barca, Real Madrid. Real Madrid are the most obnoxious fans that you can get. Sorry for all due respect, but you know they're a pain in the whatever. So therefore, that's the thing, right? And the people will in Germany say, "Oh, Bayern Munich fans are bad." Ugh, yeah, but you know, so therefore, that is that. That's fans. But to me, is in the combination of being a fan with the world we live in 2026, with fake news and alternative realities and other things, that we cannot agree to, that there are certain things that have happened, that are happening, and that are realities. That to me is a big problem. Who knows Bengali clubs? Being honest, more people know about Kerala Blasters. I don't think more people know about Kerala Blasters. I would doubt that. But again, I might be wrong. Yeah, Aditya, I don't think that more people know about the Blasters. If one club decide not to play and only 13 play, and they're going to relegate two clubs. If two or more clubs decide not to pass out the cone, multiple clubs from ID next year. Bubbles animation, do we have relegation? Again, you're starting from point three before thinking about point one. And the point is not one club. I think there are six clubs at the moment who are contemplating on what to do or not to do. Right? So um, so therefore that's the thing. From your point of view, what's the solution you would take to run the ISL again? Your suggestions. Renal, I need to look at what I have. I cannot simply on this forum say, oh, you know, A, B, C, D, and then it's sorted. No, I need to sit down with the concerned parties. I need to sit down with the clubs. I need to understand where the clubs stand. What is their issues? I need to sit with coaches, with players. I need to understand what are the local issues and problems, right? And for me, then you can think about a solution. My first solution is that the AIFF needs to go in and say, you know what, we need a change in the constitution, and the ownership is not with us. That's the first thing. After Mohammed said not to play in Iran, creating more bad image, not releasing players for U20. Again, those are not knowing or not knowing is different thing. I'm getting happiness, not getting happiness with my European football Chelsea. Yeah, lost yesterday. Huh? Maresca was good coach, Club World Cup and Conference League. Whatever that squad was masterclass, especially defeating PSG. Mohan Bagan, Mohan Began, East Began. Bangladesh might have died laughing after watching this. Raj, I was watching it live and I couldn't believe what I was watching there. Right, so therefore, for me, it is insane to think that that is the reality of things. Right, so therefore, it's yeah. The less I say, the better, because it just doesn't make sense, right? It just doesn't make sense, and therefore, for me, it is the way it is at the moment. And yeah, what to say? Is Reliance Academy and Football Grassroots work part of their CSR activity? That they start a new league for U6 in Mizoram? Are all this part of their CSR? Yeah, it's part of the Reliance Foundation. It is, all of that is part of the Reliance Foundation. All youth and grassroots initiatives are part of the Reliance Foundation and not part of FSDL. Even Feroz Shah is better than Kalyan Chauvik on the first Shah. Tughluq was known as wise for he tried so many reform, but failed. How many reform culture? Feroz Shah, I don't even know who you're showing. You expect a new tender? Roshan, it could happen. I I don't expect anything anymore, right, guys? I mean, I've given up on that. I think I believe I know because it is so crazy at the moment. Yeah, that's could happen. Still waiting more info I League 2, 3, but in general could be promising outcome of this. Roshan, I thought they're trying to create an I League 2 with all teams from both the leagues in one league or something. Pirosha, it is honest. Okay, I don't even know what that guy is. Mohan Began, East Began, Legacy Sports. Yeah. Certain people who want FSL gone were the same people who hope for squeeze 500 crore. Maybe, Aditya. Many times, the decent production quality would make the poor gameplay bearable. This time, we don't even have that. That's also a very important point. Um, that again, and I say that also in European football very often that if the quality is not good, but the production is good, it sometimes, not sometimes, often looks better than it is. Big kudos to FSDL. They came back with an offer again. Offer again? Which offer, Peter? They came back with a fair offer even after the losses. Acha, okay, yeah. Sorry, with the original offer to renew, yes. Squeeze 50 crore, 2%. Okay. Anasa, what about broadcast? Will the broadcast be better than I League or worse? Genjo, are we having a league? I'm going back to a generic question, right? At the moment, to me, it sounds like that is the question that needs to be asked. Sir, being honest from being investment in eyes, you need politician as president who can have so much power, who have good relation with multi-billion company owner, better gameplay, better play, etc. Yeah, that's what we need. I'm scared right now. Odisha FC has time till Thursday if they want to say just no, just should have said no. What's with all this waiting time? Perhaps I need to be soft with my club. They are not in a good situation. Yeah, but again, this thing about calculating and thinking doesn't make sense. My girlfriend saying to me, at least we Indian football lovers get Began from Sports Minister. Yeah, Began is very, very tasty. Huh? As Began Bhaja in Bengal is very, very famous. So I need to file RTI for 18 football stadium promised by UPCM and Sunday. I will write letter regarding this. Let's see how I will get response for September to the performance. Let's see. The biggest learning lesson in this ISL crisis has to be for club owners. Whoever want to continue futures to make sure that club budget in future used in right area, not only on first team salary. On they don't care about the rest. Let's be honest. Also on the owners want instant success, right? And in Indian context, owners want instant success. They're not bothered about what happens in next year or the year after or whatever. And therefore for me, as much as I like it, would like to see it, it hasn't happened. It's not happening, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. Right? For me, it's a big challenge. It's a massive challenge at the moment to think, um, how are we going to go and get this all sorted on one side, and on the other side, get investment into grassroots and youth. Because if this uncertainty continues, listen, if my owner told me this is the situation at the moment, what are you going to invest your money in? I would actually have to tell him and say, you know what, most probably the first team, right? Forget about the rest. Still, I still not confirm all clubs. No, Rakesh, no, not all. All I can ask for is that the survival of the club, which seems slippery. Yeah, that's the difficult part. So Shah Tulak, ruler who ruled India, Delhi Sultanate, slave dynasty, tried so many reform, but he failed so many. Acha, that's why the Pharaoh's Kotla is named after him. Sorry, yeah, okay. I was thinking about a sports administrator who I didn't know. Sorry. Big fan of your channel from Australia supporting in football. Sean, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Always, not only you, but everyone who supports the channel. Without you, wouldn't be possible. Again, the chance, like, share, and subscribe. 19 likes so far. Thank you very much. And if you want to share it with others, join our lives. Please do. Always helps. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, we are 3,677 today. Um, yeah, we're moving towards 3,700 mark, and the aim is 4,000 as fast, 5,000, and then move on. And again, the most honest opinions on Indian football here on this channel. Thanks a lot as always. Hey Jordan, I miss what I missed. Got late. I was so shocked with the sports minister pronunciation of the clubs. I really wanted to know was the crowd reaction. How come no riots on? Jordan, the people. It's not riots. People are laughing. Uh, you know. So therefore, for me, it was embarrassing. Again, at the end of the day, the gentleman is the Minister of Sports for India, and he's not able to pronounce, two of the biggest football, forget football, two of the biggest sporting entities in India. So, reality. Hi, Kumar, welcome back. If East Bengal fans can tolerate owners like Imami and Nitinda, who consider to keep the club below, past people need to be patient with Rohan. He may be shady, but better than those guys. Aditya, I don't know what your opinion is. Yeah, I don't know enough. How many teams are going to shut from this season? Rakesh, I have no clue. I at the moment have no clue what is happening. But to me, um, again, we've got six entities who've not agreed to the thing. And if those six stick to their guns, I feel there are others who might say, you know what, if this isn't happening, then they might also switch their opinions. Is RTI will help, sir? I don't think so. Ixnana, I don't know. Again, they might give you an answer, might not give you an answer, might not even give you a right answer. Hey, Ochut, the problem is at all levels. You see the Vivekananda Football Academy pulling out of our due to not for reasons. Yes, I did. And let me pick out your message that you sent me a little earlier, Ochut. And it was um, so this is the Vivekananda Football Academy was supposed to travel 15, 16-year-old boys in the RFYS, 600 kilometers in 2 days, play competitive match next day with no confirmed accommodation, no food assurance, and complete uncertainty around basic welfare. Youth Football is meant to develop, protect, inspire, not to exhaust, endanger, or treat young players as logistics numbers on a fixture sheet. They also wrote, at this age, rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Nutrition is not optional, it's a fundamental. Safety and dignity are not non-negotiable. We believe football builds character, but it must never come at the cost of a child's physical and mental well-being. It's standing for our players' health, dignity, and basic human care means stepping away. Then we accept that our heads held high. Our boys deserve better system, better planning, and above all respect, we thank Iran's Federation Youth Sports for the chance they gave, but this Islamic message must be changed at all cost. Uchud, I don't know if the club is right or not, or this academy is right or not, because my question is, who's supposed to provide you with what? Aren't the clubs, even when you're traveling, supposed to take care of all of that yourself? I'm just asking a question again. And around the world, you take care of yourselves, right? So therefore, provide me this, provide me that, then I will play. Football doesn't work that way. So therefore, I don't know if my sympathy are really with them or if my sympathy are not with them because they didn't plan better. Hey Rushabh, I am good. Welcome back. Is Tektro Lucknow Academy have football in India? Ona Akash, it's young. Maybe in the future, but I don't know if it will be. Namas, now I'm not glazing him. He has taken few wrong and egoistic decisions, but all ask the club survives this crisis. Okay, isn't it the right time for Indian footballers to try outside at least 450 in Europe or Jen Joely? And how many times? Sorry, I'm really fed up of this go abroad question. Fifth year, Europe, not possible. Amateur level, semi pro level, no. So if you want to remain pro, in England, you can top three. In Germany, it's top three. In England, it's top four. Other places, it's top three, top through. You know, and generally, our players don't have the quality to go abroad. No one will take them. You know, and to me, it makes to even think that our players can go abroad, right? And this is what Gurpreet actually meant. How difficult it is as someone who's helped players to go abroad. I will always say it is the most difficult part of the journey of an Indian footballer to try and go abroad because nobody wants to take our players. You know, so therefore, for me, as much as I would like, Are players to go abroad, play abroad, be successful? I don't see them going abroad. Acha, UP. Yeah, at this point, fear should have left as a self-contained franchise-based league the way it has begun. Sort of, but the decision was not theirs, no? They had to give the rights back to the AIFF, who are the so-called custodians of Indian football. Even the interest of Reliance seems to be going away from football. Don't know how other corporations gonna invest in this system. Yeah, that's the whole problem. If we want others to come in and become commercial partners, then either it is sports management companies. So even if you run a sports man, if I, you, we all run a sports management company, right? Um, you won't do it, you know. So, brother, majority of Indian football is not of quality. Why should an European team will take? No team abroad will take an Indian footballer based on quality. Yeah. These guys don't even update the audited financial reports on time. I think the latest one has almost 6 month delay. Apple is the fastest thing from transparency. Okay. Yeah. You don't ask thieves to be transparent about the stolen goods to your brother. Again, Aditya, you are, again, do you know or you're assuming? This, I've said to you and others, you guys assume, think you know. If you don't know, don't make allegations. If you know, then you make an allegation. This is in an Indian context. You can make an allegation about XYZ person and nobody bothers about it. Sir, Intercaste Youth participating RFTL Youth League. I think they are in the North Zone. Huh? I think they are. If 6 teams out from Arsenal, how the league will start? Rakesh, no clue. Again, we are back to square one at the moment. Therefore, I don't know where we stand. One of the how Imami invested in a club like East Bengal. Kumar, because there was political pressure in Bengal. My friend was in Tech Pro Academy, even trained with Akash Mishra. He said that he had played against Minerva and they do a lot of age photo. Okay, did you watch Toxic Teaser? Chetan, sorry, I don't know which one you mean. The AIFF is threatening clubs who don't participate in the league with relegation. Relegation to where? I League? Is the I League even happening this season? All focus on short-term ISL plan. Gina and I, again, the president said the I League is happening, 55 matches, 11 teams. Let's wait and see what happens. It's going to be really interesting now that players would have to take a pay cut in order to play. Do they actually care about playing football? Worry about their paychecks. Rishabh, again, pay cuts are fine. The question is, what are you going to cut? And my question would be, if I'm a player, I have a 5 year contract, and you're trying to cut my salary, right, by XYZ, let's say 30%, 50%. Hmm, right? So, sir, do you have any news about OCIPA or sports passport discussion? There's no football scene, no discussion. There's never been a discussion on this. There's no conversation on the topic, sadly. The problem in most cases is lack of communication. If we asked the host for clarification and didn't receive any reply, it's a matter of concern. Ochut, my question is that if you're expecting people to do all of that for you and not you, that is, again, that is my question then, right? So, again, question. That, like, realistically, I think we should lose this season completely and work out for much better long term by clubs in AFF. Yeah, then what I've said, what I've been saying. That's why I always said 1% chance of a real proper, you know, and so therefore for me is where do we stand, right? I don't know. I honestly don't know where we stand, and that's the problem of where we stand and what happens, and um, it's an issue. It's an issue, and um, I said, but the problem. My question is very simple. Under this AFF, do you want a new league? Do we want a new league? I don't think so, right? So we need change, and that can only happen if a new AFF comes in. Is Tectonic good? No, no, how is your friend? Again, if Dural Cup can PSU investors to sponsor, AFF should approach the ministry to get PSU investors. What's your say? Sort of, are the PSUs really putting money in, or are those barter deals? You know what a barter deal is? You give me something, I give you something, I pay you nothing, right? And the figures that you've asked for a Duran Cup is X times smaller than asking it for a long-term league. So therefore, I don't think. And the ministry has also said we're not going to help you with sponsors or money. Right? They've been very clear on that. The only valid point is he's traveling 600 kilometers in train and play the very next morning. Uchut, yes, but again, it can be sorted out. Yes, I know why Goenka will not leave more money. He himself is Bengali maybe. No, Goenka is not Bengali. He's Marwari. Will Bangalore FC play this season after General post on X? Chetan, there are certain doubts. I, I I think there are certain doubts on that, and and given the realities of or current realities of things. So if you ask me, I think that they're that's the thing, right? So let's wait and see. So for me, if you ask me from that perspective, there's the possibility that BFC might not play. But let me 1 second. Let me just go in on and read you Parth's tweet. Second. What did I do? 1 second. Parth's tweet. 1 second. Let me get that. Tremendous sacrifice from all clubs is being asked for to play the ISL in its current format. Repercussions, if we don't have a league, are very worrying. Would like to take this opportunity to thank the Honorable Sportsman for his intervention proposal. Truly hope the players understand the additional financial burden on the clubs and agree to also sacrifice as we are all in this together. We are in this for the love of football and to see our country play the beautiful game and be good at it. Bangalore FC has been a loss-making proposition for all since I can remember. This year's numbers without the players helping out will force many to shut shop for good. Okay. So yeah, that's the reality of where we are, right? So therefore for me, um we'll have to wait and see. But to me, it could be. Now, sir, will while Tanzwala and Shibu get a game time in Tokyo 23 FC 40, right? I don't know. I have no clue if they're going to get game time or not. But again, for them, Arata helping them to get there, to train there, very, very good. Sir, player pay cuts are only for this season or for following season contracts? At the moment, they're only talking this season. But again, if they're going to cut salaries now, I don't think the salaries will go up next year automatically. And worry 15 nil loading Japan, 20 nil Vietnam, 10 nil Taipei, Shwanlata. X9P says Bangalore C will play if player accepts salary cut 1 crore plus 20 minus 30, 10 less than 1%. Okay. I'm not getting that calculation. What's your answer is? It's not about player cuts, about how much is the cut. Even if there's a short league, the summer will be filled with full of big problems, right? The clubs need long-term deals for better growth, so we will be again in this mess. 100%. That's why I said go through the videos of the last few months. I've again and again said there cannot be a solution just for now. It needs to be a mid to long-term solution. Ideally, at least a mid-term solution, which is at least for 5 years. Then we are alive. But at this moment, we're only looking to sort something and then we're back in it because the F is saying, 20-year league. That 20-year league model does not work. Who is funding it? I feel those videos where players came at the really bad time. This patchwork of season gonna ruin. If further the season should have been into the bin, in my opinion, we go to pressure for a long term. Rushabh, they were pressuring again. It's interesting to see that the video had its impact. I remember what's the use of the video. I think it has had its impact on one side, but as you say, I do also agree that maybe it's had an impact in the wrong way, and that is how you do rectify that impact on our football. So that's the challenge. Oh, Gonga sir is born. Yeah, but again, can the AIFF relegate teams who refuse to take over the season? I said, I know. To me, I said this earlier. it's a potential yes and a no answer, because your problem with this is that your challenge is what is in the contract, and when does the league and how does the league start. AFF is date federation like Supreme Court. They give specific dates for deciding broadcast. To governance model, wow, they have climbed one step earlier. Or was no fake dates with promise. Let's see, Shanlata. Feel sorry for the staff members and youth players. Can't find sympathy for players who play cards at the airport after failing to qualify for 2014 Asian Cup. Gina and I again don't agree on the last part. Is I League 3 disbanded? Chetan, at the moment it looks like where the AFF is saying, oh, we'll play a bigger 40 team I League 2. I don't know how many. Again, I've heard the point was that many teams in the second and third tier were saying, do we want to play? 20-30% on more than 1 crore. Saturday 15, 10, 15 on Saturday less than 1 crore. I don't know who's gone. Sorry. Um, at least wish for good for the OCI young playing in foreign leagues for 5 years, like Urban Negi really want this, make the best use of the talent, move forward. Shanlata, Urban Negi is another example, a 9-year-old being hyped by the Premier League because he's Indian origin. How many 9-year-olds who join a top level club become professionals? Very few, far and few. Maybe he's had his moment of glory already. 144p loading on 14th of February. I hope not, but you know, anything is possible. Anything is possible, and I don't even wouldn't even be surprised if no league happens. Right? I mean, this 14th of February thingy is today is the 8th of Jan. Right? So if I work backwards, let's see one second. Let me go into the calendar. The 14th of Feb is a Friday, right? So we've got 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, 5 weeks. 5 weeks and 2 days. Let's say four. Let's say 5 weeks. We've got 5 weeks of time, right? If again it's Wednesday evening. Um, I don't know if it's going to work. Arunava, the sports minister shakes hands with everyone that the league will happen with no confirmation from clubs. This is photo ops without understanding the depth of problem. Yeah, come on, welcome, welcome to this world. When will be AFF president election? Likely September, but again, we have no confirmation. Breaking news says Shanlata I League 2 3 will be played on farm fields with some artificial grass. Could happen, who knows? Maybe if players made those videos after the end of last season, might have forced AF to go and talks with FSL with whatever they suggested prior that time. Rushabh, it wouldn't have happened because post the Supreme Court stepping in, FSDL was gone. FSDL was gone the second the Supreme Court said AFF is running the league. Get that. They were not gone in September or something or August. They were gone in April, right? The AFF should have ensured that the matter of this of the ISL does not go into this case of the constitution. That is where they failed, right? Will Goenka still invest? Chetan, at the moment, maybe. Increasing I League to 14, but in zonal divisional league, that's the information so far. Roshan, that's what I've also heard. But again, it makes to me, I don't even know how many teams want to take part. I've heard from teams, from clubs who are I League 2, I League 3 teams. Mm. Some teams have actually already released players. So some I League 2, I League 3 teams don't have players to play anymore this season. They're already focusing on the next season. How would you answer someone who's all over the moon with Bajaj's performance boys conquering Europe? Get ready for failure, continued failure. And also any update on U17 camp on Bivana contract? Generally, and nope, none on both, to be very honest. So I always say that it's very important that a coach like Bibiano stays. For me, Bibiano has done an excellent job whenever he's been given a job for in the Indian setup. You know, um, and so for me, um, yeah, it is something that needs to be sorted. And then under 17, yes, on paper it looks a lot of huge potential for us, but on this side, I'm really concerned and worried that we are in a situation where I say, you know what, um, yeah, what are we going to do? The election will be pushed early July. Kumar, who says there's no conversation on that happening at the moment. According to Ashish Negi, there is some spark between one of the CEOs and the clubs and Lord Kalyan Chaube. Rishabh, I again, you weren't there when I was speaking about it earlier on, and I said, you know what, the clubs should have utilized the time, the opportunity they got in front of the sports minister, and they didn't. Right? They were in their yes sir mode where they actually should have spoken up. You missed an opportunity, clubs. Once more, an opportunity to speak out and speak about your grievances. At the end of the day, the AIFF is investing 0 rupees on the ISL. You are investing, you are spending money, not you, sorry, your owners are spending. Sorry. Um, Going back to what Rohit said, according to Ashin, there was some spark between one of the CEOs of the clubs and Lord Kalyan Chaube. Rishabh, yeah, I mean, I know that there are multiple people who were unhappy, but again, none of these guys spoke up. That was your opportunity. Go there, speak to a sports minister, say, sir, this is the situation. These are our problems. None of them did. None of them spoke about it. That is to me the biggest problem, right? So therefore, I don't know. Hmm, chance missed. Shared the Arsenal crisis to some of my French fans of I League on Discord server. They literally couldn't believe the level of mismanagement and institutional chaos involved. Gina and I, yeah. But again, I think the French shouldn't be shouting too loud because they've had problems around Ligue 1 management and scandals in the French Football Federation and the No, I mean, how would I explain to non-football viewers when they think his boys are doing so good, but actually they aren't? Call it fake news. Yep. Is DD Sports going to broadcast ISL? Chetan, do we have an ISL? Again, I go back now to the fundamental question: do we have an ISL? You guys are going to broadcast and this and that and everything. Okay, 2 days ago, we thought 14 teams all done and dusted. And I said, again, watch my video from yesterday morning where I said, ISL to happen. But I still had a few questions in my mind, right? Which I articulated. Right. Um, and someone said to me yesterday, okay, this, not everything. And I said, yeah, let's wait and see what happens, right? Um, and the sports minister said, do Russian sports could show it, but do people want it, or do the clubs want it on Russian sports? Would be my question, right? Well, now the AIFF lawyers did not counter that league is not owned by federation by showing examples of the world, but AIFF lawyers are arguing about the clause of holding two positions. Kumar, their priorities were different. It is about the AIFF people. It's not about the structure of the whole thing, no? Hey, Blue, welcome back. So Kalyan literally used the sports minister to pressurize the clubs and looked like he was stupid enough to believe Kalyan. Yeah. Summary? Yes. If you want to ask me that question, Blue, or want to point out that point, yes, it is where we were stuck yesterday, right? That is a reality, right? Um, so to me, mm, again, the sports minister has become a meme with Mohan Began, East Began. You know, as Bengalis we say Began Bhaja, right? Fried brinjal. But the minister is now fried brinjal, sadly, because everyone's laughing about it. It's an embarrassment. I mean, I've seen mainstream people, content creators making fun of it, right? Those who people who criticize the government using it. It's just shameful. It is just shameful that the sports minister of India cannot name two of the biggest sporting entities in the country. That to me is, I don't know. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. Embarrassing is the word that I would like to use here. It is to me simply embarrassing. And that is something which is there. You know? And also, how is Johan Benjamin performing in UEFA youth leagues? Does he have the potential? Generally, and playing UEFA youth leagues means nothing. You're playing for some small team in Slovenia. Are you going to make it? Not going to make it? I have no clue if he's going to make it or not. Right? I wish all the boys who are playing across Europe, there are tons of boys in Europe. It's somewhere or the other. I hope all of these boys are successful. But yeah, let's see. Let's see where they go. I don't understand. Players made this video now. They are rushing everything. Why can't clubs come together and pressure them to go back to Supreme Court and make amendments on ownership and operations? Rushabh, because that is not part of the conversations. I'm telling you, in my opinion, the clubs missed the opportunity yesterday, at least in front of the sports secretary, the chief secretary, and the joint secretary, to make the point that they are willing to play under certain circumstances and not under the circumstances that they have. And the minister said, you decide in the next half hour. Call your owners and then tell us. All of them said a provisional yes. The provisional was removed, right? That is then what comes out, what came out yesterday in the sense of, hey guys, you know what? And now we have a situation where I would say is, I've spoken about the six. I'm interested to hear if the other eight are already saying yes, or if some of them are saying maybe we should switch up position, right? So we are in a kitchery. We are in a kitchery moment, and the mess is getting more than rather less, and there where we are, right? And Yeah, in my opinion, I don't know if it's, I don't know where we're going with this. Um, yeah. And we've spoken about this here. I've said this multiple times. To me, the clubs need to be one, and that was broken. The second East Bengal said, "Oh, you know what? We're with the AIFF." One gone. Jamshedpur and the FC then said, "Oh, you know what? If we don't play, the Tatas will shut us down." It's not worked. It is. It is. This is counterproductive. And I've said the examples. To me, 2002, the clubs rebelled against Priyanand Dasmunchi as president. They didn't stand together in the end. 2011-12, again, when this whole ISL topic cropped up, Chirag Tana tried to organize a protest. Nothing happened. So we are in where we are. Does that mean people in AIFF have vested interest? Of course, Kumar, they have. Some of them surely have. As an Indian politician doesn't have any shame to begin with, all shame of us for having these people in this point. No. The political class around the world in the year 2026 is a problem. So let's not get into that topic, right? But the point here is, um, this isn't the first meeting, right? They've had meetings with the ministry. Nothing has happened, and yeah, the mess is a mess. We need some influence to explain the gravity of the situation right around this sad state of Indian football amid so much ambitious statements coming out from government about becoming sporting nation, a missed opportunity. Listen, India to become a sporting nation needs a different mentality at the leadership position, right? You need an understanding of sports, you know, and um and do the right things. That is where we're suffering at the moment. AFF rushing for the league is creating more problems. Of course, Blue. The AFF just wants to have a tick mark. Oh, we did a league, did I League. Oh, I League 2 also now, and 40 teams or whatever they want to do. And a lot of teams don't even have teams anymore, right? This season of the I League, a lot of smaller entities have shut shop, right? They're already preparing for next season, if at all. When it's business as usual and things get back to normal, sorry, when it's business as usual and things get back to normal, miracle, nobody cares. If it works, it works. This cannot work. Even if, if it works, it works. Okay, take care. You know, there is in German in Cologne they say "Ist ja noch mal gut gegangen." It's like saying in a casual way is that it just went right as always. That's not good enough. We are at the crossroads of things having to go in a certain way. So therefore, for me, yeah, we are in, sorry, we're in a very, very, very difficult state, and let's see, you know, to get out of this. But now, why cannot say no to sports minister counter with their points and ask the AFF change AFF constitution instead of nodding, heading the bull without thinking? Kumar, welcome to India. You know, good evening, Dark Knight. Welcome back. I can see how this patchwork season is going to be a disaster. The mat isn't matching. 2 decades plan is being made within weeks. I get we're going back to the NFL days. No, Rushabh, we're not going to the NFL days. We're going back to the pre-NFL days. That is the real problem, right? That is the problem. We are going back to the mid. If this league happens the way that these guys are planning, we're going back to the mid 90s. You think that we're going to have a league which is little worse than the ISL? Not happening. The sports minister reminds me of Trump calling Vivekananda Viveka Mandu. Blue. So many, there could be lots of them. But now the YSL clubs cannot file intervention petition by showing no sports bill in that the FIFA clause and argue the case about clause change because the case doesn't involve them. They're not party to the case. They have to go through the AFF. FIFA needs to ban AFF, except that's how I see reset happening. FIFA cannot ban Rushabh. That's the problem, right? There's no ground. Now you're saying the league is happening. So where's the ground of banning India or stopping something? That's the problem. No? There are certain natural steps. I've also said the clubs should have used the force majeure clause and started renegotiating with the players. You've had twice the chance to use the force majeure clause. You didn't enact it. And that is, in my opinion, that's the biggest problem, biggest issue. And yeah, miss the bus, miss the chance, and we're there where we don't want to be. Right? We are in a situation um, where, and I go back to the point I've said multiple times, we need outside intervention, but where is that outside intervention going to come from? That's the challenge now. Please conduct AIFF elections. Dark Knight, the problem is who's going to do it, right? The Exco is not doing it. The Exco should do it. Yeah, yeah. Um, that's the thing. Why are clubs always find ways to not stand with their own good? Blue, because they care about themselves. They don't care about Indian football or whatever. Whatever they say, right? That's the problem with saying, oh, I stand with this, I stand. No, you don't. You stand with yourself at the end of the day. Why can't they ban since Supreme Court changed the entire constitution? Rushabh, the constitution was changed as per the sports, the National Sports Governance Act or bill at the time. That has also been okayed to some extent by FIFA, who said, listen, let this body run and we'll get a new body in and they'll make the changes needed to the constitution to make it correct. That's my understanding of the situation now. So therefore, there is, you know, and that was discussed also in 2022. So therefore, that's the thing why they're giving leeway. Or now, if the league happens, then this league will be like a bullock cart show. Kumar, I don't know what it will be like, but it will not be what we're used to. My concern is we have had over the last 11 years an Indian Super League of a certain standard. You know, the standard was here. If your standard is here and your I League, let's say, is here, right? At the moment, we're talking about a league which is here, but most probably is going to go down even further. So that's the problem. And if this and this is at the level, then both of the levels drop down. Our problem is at the end of the day is what kind of a league can we have which has its value for everyone, right? At the moment, we are in a situation where this league is, yeah, so to say, imploding, right? It is not bringing us any value. And that at the end of the day is what we need to talk about. Where does the Indian Super League have value to you, to me, to all of us as fans? Indian football has lost a lot of fans, right? That's also something which we're not talking about. Indian football has lost a lot of fans, right? Over the last, I don't know, um, years, last 2, 3 years, right? Last 2 years, let's not three. And so, therefore, for me, these are all problems and issues where we are clearly missing the boat, missing the bus. And you know, to me, that's the problem. Right? That's the problem where we stand today at this moment in time, and that makes it very difficult, very very difficult to see where we're going with this. Sir, executive committee not bringing no confidence motion against Kalyan, so they will support him in election. No, Dark Knight. They're not. They're sitting in there, but they're not going to support him. I don't see that happening. But again, Indian sports bureaucracy administration is something very very difficult. Hey, Akash, I see lots of clubs are shutting shop. Akash, it's possible. At the moment, with the way that the government and the AIFF wanted to box through a failed system, that could happen. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we move towards that. But now, why I said how Imam invests in East Bengal, because he was saying we want AIFF owning league as investor of East Bengal, Imam should control. Kumar, you don't know how Kolkata runs or how this thing. I mean, your logic makes sense, but it doesn't make sense in an Indian business slash sports world. AIFF is behaving like they just want to have a league. Doesn't matter if it's as worse as CFL. when they should actually try to solve the problem in mid to long term. Blue, very well said. Right? At the moment, we're heading to a league which will be worse than CFL. Right? All the sensible foreigners have left. Right? FC Goa have been releasing one after another. They've all been going one by one. So, you know, so therefore for me, it is, as you say, the AIFF just want to have a league. So say, as I said, tick, I said, tick, I league, tick. They were doing it right in the Exco when they said, "Oh, we did that many competitions and all that." These are not tick marks. There is a quality question, and seven clubs uncertain. So does that mean other seven are ready to play? The clubs are not united, which is a sad thing. PC, I know about six. I don't know where you come to seven. If you can list me the seven, that would be nice. And the clubs are never united. We saw initially East Bengal saying, "Hey, we will play." Then East Bengal, for whatever reason, suddenly didn't say anything. Then Jamshedpur FC, and I knew that before, that Jamshedpur was saying, listen, Tatas are putting pressure on us. We have to play. Okay, I understand that. Well, then I question, of course, Jamshedpur FC and say, guys, speak to your owners and tell them this is not the right time. We should stay united with the other clubs, maybe not to play this season. Um, and and then yeah, then we are in this where we are. And then yesterday again, certain clubs said, yeah, we'll play, and then certain clubs, sorry, day before yesterday said certainly, and then others said, hey, listen, need to make me time, I need to speak. This is not everything. We are in this mess again. What my observation is, clubs here says no visions whatsoever. Akash, I wouldn't say that for all, right? But some of them surely there are some good ones in this lot. But again, the situation is very, very complex and very, very delicate. The question is, does the AFF see anything long term themselves? No, Simon. These guys want to get to the end of the term. I don't know if some people are thinking of hoping to come back in the next cycle, in the next window. But at the moment, we're not talking about anything long term or even midterm. We are talking about the next 4 months, 5 months, 5 months, not even 5 months, 4.5 months, right? So that means, and at least 1 month will go for things. Again, my question, as of today, it is the 8th of Jan. If you're saying 14th of Feb, the league will start, right? Okay, let's go through the basic things. Funding, commercial rights, grounds, broadcaster, preparations, travel plans, stay, which is club issue, transport, and stay accommodation. So yeah. Another, any contenders for the new election would change the tide of SM for good? Come on, it depends on who stands. Without, I don't know, you don't know. Club official had such a good opportunity to bash Chobe administrate in front of minister. They don't even have spine. Yeah, Akash, I said that earlier. It was a massive opportunity missed, and the club should have openly said to the minister what the situation. If not minister, say it to the secretary, say it to the joint secretary, no, right? Are players ready to cut their salaries? Avi, yes, I've heard that players are ready to cut the salary. The question is how much, right? That is the question now that is, I think, going around, is that how much should we need to cut, right? So therefore, there are a lot of these conversations, and it's a very difficult scenario at the moment to say anything of where the thing is going, Avi. Right. 1 hour, 39 minutes, which means 99 minutes of this live. Like, share, and subscribe Arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias, visit arunfoot.com. And as always, watch the short videos, do support them. I need your support at the moment. 31 likes of this video. Thank you very much. Do like, share, and subscribe. Sorry for the correction, sir. And as I always like to say, please subscribe to the channel and yeah, do watch the short videos. I did something on the, why clubs are not agreeing to play. Um, and like, hype the videos, and of course, comment on them, and I'll try to answer those. Thanks a lot as always. Hey, Prithviraj, I'm good. No problem for joining. Nate, want to highlight how fans are trolling players and not understanding situation and limited options of players, instead are spamming everywhere to go to go abroad. Prithviraj, I said, I think 2 or 3 days back, when the Gurpreet statement came out, that to me, Gurpreet was very, very right. Gurpreet had a point. I totally agree with the point. Um, because as someone who lives abroad, who's born here in Germany, has Indian roots, has lived and worked in India, has enabled trials for players, how difficult it is. If I today go to clubs at different levels and say, hey, would you give an Indian player a trial? Even to some of my good friends, they will say, Arunava, we like you, we love you, thanks a lot, but no, right? People have enabled this for me in the past. I remember Fortuna Düsseldorf did it when we had Nirmal Chetri and Corwin Franco at Düsseldorf in 2013, second Bundesliga club at the time. Changte at Viking Stavanger. Um, you know, so these are things, these are realities that I see, um, and there's no one waiting for the players to go abroad, right? Akash says one question: when the club which is new that things can be tricky after 24, 25, why they gave so many long contracts to players? It's another example of lack of farsightedness. I wouldn't say that, because if I look at the contracts, who's given really long contracts, right? It is the longest contract is Mohun Bagan Super Giants, longest and heftiest contracts. A lot of clubs have players till 27, 28, right? That is there in the market. Um, Makes sense, because your problem, even if you're thinking short term, our pool is so limited that you're fighting over the same player. So if you don't agree with signing a player on a 3-year contract, the player will not even talk to you. No player will sign for you on a 1-year contract. So you are in this, difficult situation where if you don't sign players on a mid to long term contract, you won't get the players. But look at a lot of clubs in the summer. I know at least of 4 or 5 that didn't sign any kind of players and were actually waiting to see what happens. Right. So therefore, for me, mm, and I mentioned again, Mumbai City is one of them who've actually, what did they do? They did sign Jorge Pereira Diaz. They took their time to re-sign Tiri, but Tiri has now left. And then a lot of young, talented players from the I League. Right. So yeah. Another, all of this AFF comedy is, I will put money 10 crore or 7 crore, and clubs will put money. The amount will be left after the conducting league is like 10 crore. The AFF will take back the remaining. Eh? What remaining money, Kumar? There is no remaining money. Where do you come with this idea? There's no remaining money. The AFF has said 9 point, what was 9.3 something, right? And then another portion which goes to the I League. And that would be funded from the clubs, the 14 crores that the clubs are putting in. You know, so there is no money to be taken out. 100%, and people are really hyped for this. It's more like force feeding ourselves with meds. We don't like by blending it with normal food to make us feel a bit better, joke. So I mean, that's the problem. The problem is, again, a lot of people don't understand to live in reality. A lot of the Indian football fans are living in a la la land and not understanding where we are. Hey, Shaggy, good to see you. Currently having a league with no economic future is disastrous. We should take a step back now. Clubs were given no chance. Political pressure is not a good thing in business. Shaggy, yes, but the clubs had the opportunity to say something and didn't say it. If not to the minister, why didn't you speak to the joint secretary or the chief secretary in sports? Tell them, guys, this is the situation. You have the numbers, you know the people. Tell them what the situation is before the minister sits down with Kalyan and does this tamasha in front of the media. You miss the bus, right? And now to come out, you know, right? Sorry, got disconnected. Um, so I agree with Gurpreet, but what is the option for new players if league is not happening? That night, there is none. There could have been an option in the neighborhood, which is the Bangladesh Premier League. That is no longer there. Maybe Nepal is an option. Maybe Maldives is an option. Maybe Sri Lanka becomes an option if players want to go. Southeast Asia doesn't seem to be an option. I know that some players have tried their luck in trying to, get something going. But no one is showing serious interest to take on an Indian player. That's the reality. I saw Gurpreet Singh Sandhu discussing on social media Impulas Tador. They wouldn't say it, but most of the Indian players are too bad. All the stints of senior men's players don't look like success stories. Roshan, let's take it to the next level. None of the Indian players going abroad was a success story. If we like it or not, that's the reality. International stints are not charity project. It has to be a win-win situation for all sides. Roshan, that's the point. And there is no win-win with an Indian player. Hmm? There's no extra Indian sponsorship money coming, this, that. Listen, you've had players from Asia or North America go into clubs and then suddenly, sponsors come forward. I remember when Bayer Leverkusen signed Min Son, right, from Hamburg for a good fee. LG became front of shirt sponsor at Bayer Leverkusen. And we're not talking about a small team, right? And they will still go ahead with relegation thanks to Supreme Court. I don't know if they're going to go ahead with relegation because that is another contentious point that has been discussed. So there are so many open ends, Why Mohun Bagan is still not willing to cut down budgets? Ask Vinay, ask Mr. Goenka. I guess Mohammed cutting budget cuts money of some. And there you have your answer. The Mohun Bagan Supergiant saga is as dark as your profile picture. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, blue, I mean. What if 6 art clubs lift their hands and say, we are not participating in this league? How many remaining clubs will join this bandwagon? Kumar, I think 5 or 6 entities have already committed who will play, who want to play, and the rest will have to see, right? But I think there are now talks amongst the clubs happening in the background, and this whole scenario, I don't know. Sorry. AIFF folks visiting Karnataka State Football Association annual event yesterday, the way they are talking about efforts for conducting ISL, and yet no one was even clapped. Harsh writes that AIFF bungled big time was known. Okay, so Shaggy, one question to you then. I guess you were there. How was the mood? That would be interesting. How was the mood at the KSFA annual awards? Other players ready to take a pay cut was scrolling through X. Someone had tweeted the players unwilling. PC Gamer tag, I know that some players are willing, or a lot of players are willing, but the question is how much is the cut? How much are you going to cut the salaries? Where are we going with the salary cut? So therefore, it's not a simple answer as that, right? If I've got someone in crores, I cut his salary. Okay, fine. If I've got someone else who's in lakhs, how much can I cut it? So therefore, I chop 20%, I chop 30% of salaries of everybody. It's not so easy. It is not so easy. Sir, who's Kiran Khongsai? Genjalian Kiran Khongsai is a former Manipuri footballer. He was with a certain Gunabir Singh. I think was it Kiran Khongsai? Was it late 80s, early 90s? I think Kiran was one of the first Manipuris to make it big in Indian football. So yeah, and he's sort of say the Shiloh Malswam Tulunga um, of Manipur. Right? Played for JCT, Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, but and was the first ever Manipuri to play for India. Okay. Sorry. Roshan says, example, I see every person, every season at my local women's team, third division, a random Japanese player always playing a level ahead of the local players in the squad. Yeah. Roshan, we've had this also at FC Remshire in the 60s. A lot of Japanese players. Even now, we have a Japanese boy with us. So this Japanese players thing in Europe. But again, there is a willingness to take those players, right? Who wants to take an Indian footballer? You know. So therefore, for me, I don't know. At the moment, I honestly don't know how we're going to get to where we want or where we need to go, right? Um, and to me, I don't know. To me, if you ask me, yeah, where are our players? Where are our players? Dada, is it smart to plan the next 20 years with an AIFF regime that's on its way out? Why are clubs negotiating with Mr. Chaudhuri instead of waiting for the new administration? Um, Sensation, very good point. You are raising good point where I would have said, independently of where we are at this moment in time of our conversations or discussions, point to me, which is very important, is I would have said and asked, is can you put pressure on the AFF to make the changes to the constitution that their commercial partner comes in? Because if that commercial partner doesn't come in, you as the clubs are the commercial partner. Sorry. You as the clubs are then the commercial partner of the league slash AFF who own the league. So therefore, yeah. Now there's seven clubs. Sorry, if eight clubs were left in the so-called league, then AFC can accept that as a league. Then what kind of league will happen? Kumar, AFC accepting, not accepting is a different question. Even with 14 teams, one leg, we're playing not enough matches. There are a lot of questions on that front to be asked. So therefore, it doesn't matter, 8 teams, 5 teams, 2 teams, whatever we are holding has to be discussed with the AFC. And it looks to me, the longer all of this lasts, all of the conversations are lasting, the longer all it lasts, you know, it becomes more complicated. Shaggy says KSFA, sorry, annual event was first time, tied with Mr. Harris's birthday, plus awards, nothing to do with AFF, mostly Supreme came, acha, but not carried by too many speeches, but some good announcements. Okay, so for Mangalore football, it was worth it. Very interesting. So let's see. Gender alliances, where do you see Indian football 15 years down the line? Will there be even football in India if things continue like this? Gender alliance, people ask me where we'll be in 5 years, where will we be 10 years, 15, 20, 100 years. I don't know. Because I don't even know what's going to happen next week. I don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Can I tell you that tomorrow we will have a confirmation of the ISL? Could we have a boycott of the clubs tomorrow from the ISL? Could we? If I don't know what is going to happen today, tomorrow, I can't tell you what's going to happen in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years, because we don't know where we're headed. We are in a very, very difficult and tight spot. Very tight spot. Because to me, it's insane to think where we are at this moment in time, because yeah, the clubs, we are again where we were after the last meeting with this Hawthorne history, where everybody said, oh, we're moving ahead and we're going to get a solution soon. Nothing happened, you know. Uh, so to me is, I would hope that this 2025 and the start of 2026 will be a learning lesson for Indian football to structure itself in the right way, to bring in the right people to run in a proper way. That's the only way forward. Otherwise, no need of a conversation for you, me, or anyone else. Right. So therefore, in 15 years, where do I want to see? Okay, in 2041, right? Regular Asian Cup team, right? A league which is functional, and maybe trying to get to the latter stages of Asian qualifiers for a World Cup. That would be my dream. Will it happen? Where do I see it in football? If you ask me today, looking at the situation, I fear we're going to be in the same situation as we're now. You know, can AFC stop the league? Does AFC have the no? Kumar, that's a national issue. AFC doesn't involve. Indian mainstream media is responsible for pathetic condition of Indian sports because they overemphasize on cricket. They are more concerned about poor condition of West Indies than Indian sports. Avi, yeah, I I I agree to that point, and I realized that yesterday when I was part of the News Nine discussion, that that who are we discussing with and how and where on football. Do watch News Nine. I was part of it, and it's cricket all the way, right? But now there's someone from ACE and FIFA to step in and say, stop this chaos, we'll put this house in on. Kumar, they don't have that right. How many times have I been telling you guys that FIFA and AFC can't blindly just come and step in and say, stop, we're not doing this? No, that's not their role. They are not the police. You know, they are overviewing the things, but they cannot, if not called upon, or if the situation doesn't spiral out of control, it will not happen. The question for me is not if Indian football dies, it's how much damage control will be done to avoid more and more fallback of Indian football compared to the rest of the world on longer timeline. Roshan, I think on the similar lines. We are dropping in standards. Everybody else around us either is keeping their standards or moving ahead. Um, to me, if we don't take the correct steps and the right people come in and manage micro manage Indian football, this will implode. We are close to implosion point, and that is, in my opinion, a very big danger, and that has to be accepted. That's the reality of things. We are in a very dangerous time. And if Indian football in some sort of form will survive, whatever Indian football is. Indian football is not dependent on the AIFF or the ISL, but top level professional club football is harmed. And look at the women's game. The IWL is taking part like some sort of local tournament. That is not a national level football league. This used to be the way when it was started. We had moved on to the home and away format and this and everything. Now we're cutting it down to the basics. Yes, sir, that's the problem. We never learned. In Indian context, experience makes us more stupid and more incompetent. Generally, it sounds harsh and hard, but yes. What is the problem? As I discussed, right, that when people are sitting in front of the minister, they're not saying what the problems are. They're saying, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. So this old thinking that if I'm lower in the hierarchy, I do not question my superiors is a problem in the Indian system, in my opinion. One. My second problem is um, there's no introspection, right? People don't question themselves. There's no accountability. And the biggest problem I see in Indian football, in my opinion, is lack of knowledge. If people like it or not, to me, the knowledge factor is something where I say, you know what, we should know, we need to know better. And if we don't sort these things out, I don't see us going in the right direction. Because at the moment, we've in the last 3+ years since the last, you know, you know, and um, how much damage has been caused to Indian football, right? Another I was hearing in Shan channel, Jaideep Basu saying that Indian football goes on without ever still. After seeing this, I understand Kolkata Maidan journalism. You know what? He's not even Kolkata Maidan journalism. He was based in Delhi, Kumar, right? Sorry, yeah, Kumar. Um, so for me, Kumar, Jaideep da, again, it's not only a Kolkata problem. There's a lot of problems across India. Kolkata and Kolkata Maidan has its own set of problems. But even someone based in Delhi, yes, he's a Bengali, you'll say, but there are a lot of other people. Look at uh, people from other states, older guys who tell you, oh no, this and that, everything. These problems, guys, are there everywhere. Indian football also lives in its history, right? In its so-called history. That is, in my opinion, another problem. So for me, if we want to move in the right direction, if we want to move in where we need to go, it's a tough ask. It's a very, very tough ask. And I don't know if we can ever reach that. And yeah, um, it is one of those things, right? That um, let's wait and see if we can get there, right? So to me, I was hoping, but again, we are back to square one, it feels, and let's wait and see what happens. And with that, over 2 hours of this live on this 8th of January 2025, where we realize, um, I don't know where we are at this moment in time. So let's wait and see. Is there any chance of still coming back to ISL? Generally, at the moment, I would say no, but you never know. So-called cricket fans and people in, including sportsmen, they do not know the football league concept because the cricket bubble, not the sports bubble. Kumar, does the sportsman understand cricket? Again, you're giving him too much credit, right? It's not about cricket. It's about generally about understanding about sports. And yes, the IPL has created a wrong impression of sports, but that's where we are today. But with that, 2 hours and 3 minutes, which means more than 120 minutes, we're now already in the time of the penalty shootout. Um, yeah, the ISL 14 teams have not still confirmed. There's no clarification, so every day let's wait and see what happens. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. And those of you who haven't, I did an interview 2 days ago with Pritam Kota. But Pritam has been very honest. I don't know if some of you who don't speak Bengali, maybe you've tried to use the AI function of YouTube to auto translate. Um, Try and do that. I think it's quite useful. And Pritam has been as honest as I've. Again, Pritam has always been very honest with me in conversations privately, but I think he was very honest in a public platform. Trying to do a few more interviews in the coming days, speaking with a few people. They've agreed to do interviews. Let's see what they say. And yeah, thanks once again for joining in. I'll catch you tomorrow night. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Speak to you then. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all of you following. And again, watch the short videos, like them as well, hype them as well, and give me your feedback. Thanks and good night, everyone.